Michael, this is a video about uh, our mathematical project. This is the first video. I just sent you a WhatsApp text about this. But this week and next week, I've already done it for the last 2 weeks, but I think maybe we can start aligning ourselves so that we are covering the same material. So, and maybe if I am 2 weeks ahead of you, I can tell you what I did, and then you can use the next 2 weeks to then do what I did. And then we stay synchronized like this, with me sort of slightly ahead of you. And that way, when you are encountering the material, we can discuss it. So for the last 2 weeks, I did mostly the Barnett, chapter 11, which is sequences and series, arithmetic and geometric. There's a lot of exercises there, so I actually recommend doing the whole chapter up to, so it's chapter 11, up to the binomial. Skip the binomial. I don't think we need the binomial until we do probability and statistics, which I do think I do want to get to. But I think right now we're just giving ourselves the foundations, a very strong foundation for calculus. And so we're going to need that. So, yeah, if you do those things, that would be great. And so it's exciting stuff. It's learning first, or reminding if you learned it before, what's an arithmetic series? Well, first, what's a sequence? What's a series? Which is just basically the aggregation of the values in a sequence. That's a series. And then what is an arithmetic series, which is basically one where the values of the sequence, there's a common difference, meaning that the values of each subsequent value differs by the same amount. So for example, 1, 3, 5, 7, the difference between each of those is 2, right? And so there's a common difference, and so that's an arithmetic. They're pretty simple creatures. Sequences where there's always the same difference between the values. The values are referred to in the nomenclature as A, and each subsequent value, so the order of the value is N. So in the 157 sequence, 1 would be 157, those numbers that would be A, and there would be the subscript 1, 2, 3, because that's the order in which they appear, right? 1, 5, 7, A1, A2, A3. The series, the arithmetic series for that sequence would therefore be 1 plus 3 plus 5. That's 9, right? 5 plus 3, 8 plus 1, 9. And so that would be the S3 value of that sequence. There's 3 values, so S for series, 3 for the 3 values. You also have infinite series. That's another creature. You'll see that there's a formula for how to find the, if they give you the A1 value, the first in a series, then they can just give you, ask you what is and then they give you the common difference. Those are the only 2 variables you need to find any AN value in that sequence. And with that, you can then also find out the value of the series. So that's arithmetic. The geometric is very similar, with the exception that instead of having a common difference, you have a common ratio, right? So that, and the common ratio means that the values between the members of the sequence do not have a common difference, meaning the difference between them isn't the same number. but it's usually an increasing or a decreasing number, and it always differs by the same. No, and so and the difference of that difference is a common difference. Okay, so so these are a little bit more complex. These are a little bit more complex, but it's no big deal. They, geometric also basically can be stated. It can be like, there's a common ratio. So there's a common divisor to them. And then again, the difference between the sequence and the series for the geometric. So once you do that, and then you do the exercises in that chapter 11, then you can get something which is not in the Barnett book, but which is important actually. It's the quadratic series and sequence. I suggest you go to YouTube for that and just type in quadratic sequence and series, but only after you do the arithmetic and geometric. And then you will learn, when you have a quadratic series, which is basically, it's going to be a quadratic equation, a quadratic function of n being the value in the order of the sequence. And so there, then you can find that out and learn about that and learn how to apply it and how to derive it, the quadratic formula for any given sequence that's quadratic. So that's it. If you manage to do all that in a couple of weeks, that would be cool. And then we can talk about it on Sunday if you want, and see how it's going for you. It was very pleasurable for me. I have my HB pencils. They're the best ones because they're loose. They're not too hard. They have a nice dark imprint. And of course I use my legal pad and yellow legal pad. But you'll have your own instruments yourself. You already do, I'm sure. So enjoy the experience. Let's check back with each other maybe on Sunday. Have a great one. Bye.